My dog is currently trying to get her after dinner dessert bone. So you may hear little tippy taps of the feet and of her trying to do that. I am going to be giving my review of Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Clearly, from my garb, you can see that I am a fan. This was actually made for me by my fellow road warrior, Reese Miller, who came with me tonight. You could only see what my dog is doing right now. I'm gonna start off with what I liked about it. This is my review of Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. So I'm gonna start off with, I went into this film with very, very high hopes and a slight concern that I would be disappointed. And I just kept checking my high hopes because I really, really loved Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road was extraordinary, but you know, one of the things I realized when I was kind of like going through what worked for me and what didn't work for me about this film is there's elements of Mad Max that don't work, you know, Mad Max Fury Road. So it's the thing that I loved the most about Mad Max Fury Road was the being able to be within that world of, they basically just dropped you like a drop in the bucket into the world of Mad Max Fury Road. And there wasn't all of this, let me explain this, exposition of why this is this way or why we're doing this or what this thing is. And it just assumed that the audience was intelligent and assumed that we would figure it out, which is so refreshing because so many films don't do that. And it takes you having to, you done, baby driver? You done with your scratching? And it just takes you having to watch it and be intelligent and pay attention to figure it out. So it was not Mad Max Fury Road. I didn't hate it by any means. I did enjoy myself. I felt myself overall engaged most of the time. And I enjoyed it. I loved being in that world again. Just so many of the stunts and the practical effects were just so extraordinary. And yes, I loved being in that world again. So the main things I'm gonna point out is just the stuff that took me out of it and the stuff that I felt like didn't work and just like missed the mark. And I felt like if they had just tweaked it just a little bit, it just would have like really hit it home. And I also don't know if this was like a George Miller thing or if this is like something with the studio and like getting approval. Like you just never know when you watch movies, like why they're gonna be certain ways, right? So first of all, I didn't like the voiceover in the beginning and I did not like the voiceover in the end. And I didn't think that it was necessary. I think they honestly could have just started the film on young Furiosa in the field, in the green place, picking the fruit. And then the immediate inciting incident of those people being there, the wastelanders, and then her getting taken. Like I thought that was enough. I actually was a little disappointed that her name started off as Furiosa. Like I actually thought it was gonna be like she was dubbed that name or that like she became that name, and I thought that was a little bit of a missed opportunity because obviously Furiosa, furious, like she wasn't a furious child. And I know that like whoever she was with, Valkyrie, it's like obviously they wanted them to have powerful names. So anyway, I didn't think they needed the voiceover in the beginning. I really didn't like the title cards, like the A and the B and the C. Every time they did it, it took me out of it and it was strange. And I don't know why they did it. I also didn't like and feel like it was needed, the like having to say the little titles of where it was, like Bullet Town, Gas Town, and then like even like I would have been okay and let it slide that they put that if they hadn't had the little underneath it thing that said that had the like the explanation, like the third biggest fortress in the wasteland. It just felt like there was moments of this movie that were trying to cater to the people who hadn't seen Mad Max Fury Road or any of the other Mad Max films, and trying to help people who didn't understand or didn't have the context. Like the fact that they ran all of those clips from Mad Max Fury Road during the credits felt like such a weird, cheap shot, and felt like such a like, almost like this weird strategic thing, like George Miller got some fucking, stupid feedback from some dumbass executive that was like, hey, you know what we need? We should take it all the way until the point of where that movie starts, and then show all of the clips from Mad Max Fury Road. So then it's almost like a little teaser trailer, and then it will get people to watch Mad Max Fury Road instead of just having the credits be the credits. That was just like, why are you doing this? But like I said, I think I know why. So weird, a bird is being so loud right now. So that was like the main thing. Okay, so let's talk about, I know there was some people that were concerned about Chris Hemsworth. And what's kind of funny is that I had a big concern about Anya Taylor-Joy in this, and then all of the men that I talked to had a big concern about Chris Hemsworth. And then I got into this like thing of like, oh, does like every like gender like subconsciously is like jealous or like hates the other gender? Like it's like has more like harshness. I just thought it was interesting. I loved seeing Chris Hemsworth in a role like this. Like he always plays like the default, like gorgeous, pretty boy. And there was like this weirdness and this like rawness and this like, I loved like the kind of like abstract, like creative task and certain things that he would do with his movements and like his body and like stuff like that. And like the thing with like his little stuffed animal and like that being kind of like a representation of his past and all of that jazz. So here were like some of the big things for me that like really stood out that I'm like, okay, this felt like such a missed opportunity, right? So the thing where she like cuts her hair and escapes when her older brother, cuts her chastity belt and is like clearly going to do something to her, and she like plans the thing and he like notices the thing on her arm and she like runs away, right? And then like blends in with not being a war boy, but I can't remember the name of the guys that, do the thing. Blends in with being another one of like the little boy guy things, right? I thought that was brilliant. I was like, oh my gosh, like cuts her hair, like she has to, like for a thing to blend in. I love that shot of like the hair on the twig thing and how it like did the time lapse. That was really, really, really cool. So literally how it showed up for me is like, if literally one of his wives, like his future wives, and women are so rare in this world, like full-ling, whatever they call them, like healthy, beautiful women. I know there's women in the world that are like these old, decrepit, women of the wasteland that's been like destroyed or whatever. But like one of his wives just disappears and like, that's it. Like they don't show us, or there's like no searching for her, like no concern about that, right? And I thought it was really cool of like, okay, she's really skinny. She just kind of like blends in. She just seems like a little boy, right? But they set up this thing from that moment of the map of where she came from being on her arm, which was so cool and so brilliant, right? And then when the person like caught, when she originally, he's like, oh, what is this on your arm? And then when there's like the fear of like him being like, oh, like really scrawny, like there's like the fear of it happening again. So to set that up for the arm thing. And then not, like, literally it is, what is the term? Of course I can't think of the term in filmmaking, where it's like, you show a gun in the first act, it has to go off in the second act. So they showed me the gun and I was waiting for, oh my gosh, that's how she loses her fucking arm. Something's gonna happen where they discover it and they're like, look, this is where we're going, right? Like, look, now we can go, like, literally pillage and rape this and, like, take all of the resources from the green place. Like, something where she had to, like, chop, like, I just kept thinking it was going to be, like, her, like, I didn't know what, but something where she would have to, like, chop her own arm off or, like, cut her own skin or, like, something, right? And then they didn't deliver it to us. And it was, like, to have it be this, like, accident with, like, the car thing. And then I did think it was really cool that it was, like, you know, kind of weak. And then she had to, like, hang there and she literally, like, either cut or ripped her own arm off in the thing to get away. But then she's literally leaving the map on her arm there for them. And maybe that was the point. Like, she left it there and then they went and, like, pillaged it. But I don't think it was, because I feel like they would have made some sort of point about it. And I was just like, wow, like, what a freaking missed opportunity. What the heck? I want to, like, set this up because I'm, like, biased from the beginning, and, like, I really did, but I also know of my bias, which can have me I can be responsible for my bias. I did not think Anya Taylor-Joy was a good casting for this at all. I think, like, I thought she was extraordinary in Emma, and all the things that I've seen her in where they try to have her be this type, like, badass type, just feels weird. It, like, doesn't fit her essence, in my opinion. And there are a lot of other actresses that I thought could have been, like, so much better in the role. And here's the thing. I'm biased because, oh my gosh, this would be, like, a fucking dream role that I would, like, love to play. And it's not like I'm so biased that I can see the things that she's good in. And I also think, you know, Charlize Theron, like, literally, like, iconic, like, freaking killed it. So it's so hard for me to watch an actor that, like, is, like, here developmentally as an actor, while, like, Charlize Theron, in my opinion, is, like, up here, right? So the first half of the movie, I actually didn't think she was that bad. Like, I actually thought, like, because she spoke very little, it actually, like, really worked. One of the things, as far as, like, all the stuff I'm going to say for, like, the rest of it is going to be specifically about her character and her performance. One of, like, kind of the biggest plot holes for me that, like, really threw me off, but I literally, like, I am not one of those people that can't have suspension of disbelief, but this just made no sense. When she's revealed that she's clearly a woman and she has long hair to the guy that's driving the war rig, right? When that's revealed, first of all, my first thought was, like, why would she have not kept her head shaved if her being found out as a woman literally could cost her her life? That's stupid. Like, that is so stupid. Like, how easily could her hair get caught in a fucking machine, or, like, the thing be ripped off and have someone be like, oh my gosh, you're a fucking woman, you know? That's really dumb. Like, why would she, if she was literally in hiding for, like, you know, from when she was, like, what, 8 to however old, and it was, like, that imperative on her life, like, she would have kept her hair. And when it's revealed that she's a woman, there's not, like, him being like, we got to cut your hair off. We have to hide you. We have to keep pretending you're a man. It's just like she comes back to the Citadel with him. There's no, hey, aren't you that bride of mine that escaped however many years ago? Like, get back in the cave. Like, I understand when she comes back way later and her, like, arm is cut and it's kind of like she's already, like, one of them. But it's like there's no questioning, no realization of that. And, like, with, like, women and his wives being so unbelievably precious, like, that isn't, like, that doesn't make any sense. That's, like, a huge flaw in the plot, that would not be addressed, or that they wouldn't have to keep hiding her, or, like, whatever, right? I really didn't like I thought it was like so silly, the like it's been 40 days of this war like voiceover thing, and as she's like the montage of her like kind of becoming Furiosa, and it's like now I'm gonna cut my hair. Like it's like a woman after a bad breakup. Not that I had a bad breakup, but it's like, oh, like I'm taking my power back. I'm cutting my hair and I'm making this arm. It's like maybe that's why they had to have the 40-day montage so she could make this like arm. And like now I'm one of you and I'm gonna like take the car and I'm gonna like go after him or whatever, right? It's like it became like the second half of it became for me like her acting, and also like the plot in general with her character arc was just so like one note towards the end, right? Like, and I loved how like her like being, I loved the thing of like how she got the shotgun and like her relationship with that guy and how he like taught her everything that she knew. I thought that was really, really cool. And the thing with her and Chris Hemsworth in the end, I loved all of his lines. So many of her lines were so ridiculously cheesy. We didn't need them. Like we just didn't need them. And like her hitting him and like whatever, and then the voiceover of like some say they shot him in the head and like da 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 da. It's like, and also like towards the end, there was so much things with her, and I think it's because she didn't actually shave her head for it, like that looked like really bad, like video game CGI, like with her and like the pulling the thing down and like it just, and I was like, it was just like really frustrating because the thing that's so great about the 2015 film is like that the practical effects are so extraordinary, and like that you're not taken out of it by like, you know, that. Because people can tell. And so anyway, it just felt like she was much better, in my opinion, in the beginning when she said way less. And the more lines that she had towards the end, the more I was like, oh, this is really hard to watch and hard to listen to. And it just felt really one note. It felt like she was like playing the problem and playing the, and for actors that are watching it, you know what I'm talking about. Like playing the problem and being like, I'm so mad and I'm so vengeful. And like the one single tear that falls down, but like it's not connected to anything. Just because an actor cries doesn't mean it's connected to anything. If I'm watching someone having a truly vulnerable, raw, emotional experience, it moves me. And I wasn't moved. And it just felt like she wasn't like fighting to like try to talk herself out of killing him, you know? Like it, maybe if they had developed their relationship more, or like he was kind of like a father to her, but also conflicted because she literally watched him murder her mother. It's like, I didn't see that there was no conflict. There was literally no conflict in her like with him and all of his lines, and her standing there and like beating him up. Like I didn't feel or sense any sort of like I'm struggling with myself and with the thing of not being able to like know if this is the right thing to do. Like I'm struggling with killing you. So yes, that's the part that, and also her eyes are literally a different color than Charlize Theron. Did that bother anybody else? Was anybody else like, what the fuck? So those are the parts that I was disappointed in. Definitely not, probably it's not a movie like Fury Road that I will like rewatch many, many, many times. But I think that if those things had been, it's like really funny too. I saw an article that said that she only had like 30 lines in the whole thing. And George Miller was like, yeah, like dialogue like gets in the way of like action. And then like he had like had her have all this dialogue at the end that just felt like so unnecessary. And I think it's because of, I don't think that she's the best. It's not that she's a bad actress. I don't think it was good casting. And anytime it's like good casting, it's like bad casting. It's like the actor does the best they can do. I don't think her essence fit like fit that, you know. It's just a lot of her performance was just really one note, you know. I really love the scene with her and like her kind of like ambiguous like love interest, and like him like getting eaten by the dogs and her like hanging there. I thought that was like, and like watching like Chris Hemsworth and like kind of like dealing with like what his life has become, you know. But yeah, so I'm sure I'll watch it again from a perspective of getting to, from a perspective of like getting to be in that world again. But yeah, I had, like I said, I'm aware that I went in, my biggest bias that I went in with is that like I'm just like a really, really big fan, and like was holding it to a really high esteem. And I think that's fine. I think that's fine that we hold movies to a high standard, just like we hold ourselves to a high standard, because like isn't that what we're going for? Like the pursuit of excellence, you know? And like I hope that like filmmakers that are like these huge filmmakers like see reviews like me and other things that people are saying on the internet, and actually like do take them sometimes with a grain of salt versus just discounting them, because I think sometimes it is the public that isn't so close to something that can see what could make something really, really great. So anyways,